Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about moving to the UK. Now, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome, thanks for stopping by. I am an American expat who lives in the United Kingdom. I spent 6 years in London and now I'm living in a smaller town and getting ready to move to Zurich in Switzerland. So I've kind of moved around quite a bit and I have a bit of experience with this topic. I had someone request that I do a video about moving to the UK, acquiring a visa and finding work in the UK. It's too much, there's too much meat on the bone there to put it all in one video. But for today, I thought we would talk about moving to the UK and acquiring a visa. So I've kind of put together a list of things you should think about. I'm gonna be very honest with you because I don't want you to waste all the money in the world trying to acquire a visa and then get shot down because somebody gave you this magical unicorn idea that it was easy to do. It's not, it's gonna be pretty tough. But if you think that you want to move to the UK, keep watching and hopefully I will have some tips that will help you along the way. Before we get into the visa, I just want to say that if you are watching this video, congratulations, you're thinking of moving to the UK. If there is any doubt in your mind whatsoever, should I do it? Oh, I'm gonna be giving up, Susie and Sally that I go to the mall with, or whatever it is, swipe all that. Absolutely, absolutely. Go for it and try to move to the UK or any country for that matter. When I look back now and I think about, the days that I was like, oh, should I do it? I'm so comfortable here. I have a good job here. Thank goodness I took the plunge. My life is so much more enriched because I have learned about other cultures, other people. I've been able to travel all over. It's just opened up so many doors, wide open. So if you are thinking of doing it, whether it's to study, to work, to follow love, just to go on your own, to explore a new place, absolutely, absolutely, you must do everything you can to try to move to a new country. It's the best thing I ever did. So the number one thing you need to figure out is which visa is right for you. If you go to the UK Home Office immigration website, which I'll put a link below, there is a very nifty little calculator that will ask you a few questions about yourself, where you are in life, stuff about your passport, your work history, and it will tell you yes or no, you need a visa, first of all, and which visa you need to explore and apply for. That is definitely the first step. You don't want to do all this work, pull together all this paperwork, and then realize you're applying for the wrong visa. Big waste of time. So definitely find out which visa it is that you should be going after, and that can all be found on the UK immigration website. Another thing, when you are finding out which visa you want to apply for, you need to take a few things into consideration. Will I be able to work on this visa? That is a huge question because there are some visas that you can acquire, but you cannot work on them. So if you apply for, say, a fiance visa, if you're in a relationship and you plan on getting married, but you're not married yet, the fiance visa, anyway, when I applied, this was the case, you could not work. So make sure you look into all the fine print that goes along with the visa and how limiting it is with your opportunities for employment, etc. Another thing is, how long is the visa for? Not that that should really matter, because if it's 2 years, go ahead and get it and figure something else out. But you just kind of want to know all that stuff going in so you don't think, oh, once I get this visa, I have my magic golden ticket and I can live in the UK forever. It doesn't really work like that, and you want to make sure you have all the information. Second, now that you know what visa you need, do your research. This is where I play bad cop. I got to take the unicorn horn off, get rid of the rainbows earlier where I said, move country, it's the best thing ever. You have to do your research. You have to know what paperwork you need to submit. When you send that information in to the Home Office for review, if everything is not absolutely what they asked for, be it a date range of paperwork they need, proof of address, stuff around your passport, stuff around the passport photos, if you veer even a millimeter off of what they're asking, they will turn you down. Trust me. I have applied for, I think, 4 visas now, just through them expiring and getting them renewed. And there have been times that I've sat with my husband and been like, come on, I'm married to you, I'm pregnant with our son in the case a few years ago. There's no way they're not gonna give me a visa. It's okay that we don't have this little thing. And let me tell you firsthand, I have sat in an appointment and they've been like, oh, you don't have that documentation, between these 3 weeks that we said we required. I mean, it's so specific, guys. So we can't give you a visa unless you have that, unless you find it. So my husband and I are like scrambling through paperwork, trying to find something. In our case, it was a spouse visa, but find something with both of our names on it. And we found it, we had it, which was great, but there is no like, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna go ahead and let you in because you don't have this completely arbitrary, random receipt from, 1982. They're gonna ask for some really obscure stuff and you need to do everything in your power to find it. This can be challenging in an electronic age where we're paperless. So you have to make sure you get all of your documentation together. So that brings me to another really important point. If you are applying for a spouse visa or any kind of joint partner visa with a British citizen, you want to go ahead way in advance and start getting paper statements. If you live in the US, like we lived in New York, you'd want to get like your gas bill or your electric bill or your telephone bill. Start getting it put in joint names with your partner if you're living with them, and have that stuff sent to you on paper and start keeping that paper because you're going to need that documentation. Don't worry if you don't though. You can call most companies, Bills, Virgin Media is great. You can call your bank and say, look, I need the last 2 years of bank statements. And it's so ridiculous now in 2017, given that everything's online, but you will need all this documentation. And specifically for spouse visa, you're going to need documentation with both you and the British citizen's name on the same bill. It gets confusing, but you want to go ahead and start getting as much stuff with both your names on it as you can. This is a lot of information, but it all comes back to do your research and know exactly what they're going to ask for, because if you do not have it, they will not give you a visa. So you have a big decision to make when you're doing all of this research and pulling everything together. Do I want to do this on my own with my partner or my friend or whoever's helping me, or completely on your own? Or do I want to hire somebody to help manage it in the UK? Now, in my case, when I first moved over, I hired somebody. I hired an immigration lawyer who could look at all my paperwork and go, you're missing that one little fine detail here. And I did that because it's expensive to apply for a visa, and they don't say like, oh, sorry, you're missing this, this, and this, so here's a full refund of the hundreds of dollars you've given us to apply for a visa. No, they still take your money and they just turn you down. So you really need to consider, if you do have the funds, hiring a solicitor to help you along the way. Now, I used a company called Skillview, I believe it was called. I'll put a link to their website below, and I was really happy with it. I got my visa in the end. It's really a personal choice. If you are like so meticulous and you trust yourself that you're going to get every single bit of paperwork right, then do it on your own. Next, I talked about collecting paperwork. You need to start saving money. Obviously, you need to save money to move here, but also applying for a visa is expensive. It is not cheap. It is, I mean, last I checked, it was a couple $100s. I'm getting ready. I actually, ironically, have an appointment Wednesday. I'm applying for indefinite leave to remain right now. Getting the visa itself is hundreds of pounds. And then on top of that, I'm going for an in-person appointment. So that's even more money instead of sending it in. So I would just say, make sure you're saving money, because we all have these amazing dreams, which I totally endorse, and I water that dream plant with you. You want to come to the UK, but if you are not saving money and you don't have the finances to apply for a visa, it won't happen. So another thing I would say, it might be the last thing, I don't know yet. Another thing I would say is seek out help. There are so many people before you, me included, who have gone through this long process, and you can find tons of help online. Obviously, you're here, so you found YouTube. There's lots of information on here. There's expat forums. Go on those and ask questions. People have very long, thorough answers. They want to help you because they've been through it themselves and they know. If you have any specific questions, just leave them below, and I will try to respond as soon as I can. I'm trying to think of what else. I think the main thing, I'm kind of thinking now, have I left anything out? But I think the main thing is, if you are going to do it on your own, do not try to cut corners and like pull one over on the immigration people. You're better off to get a second opinion, ask somebody if you're not sure if the documentation is right, or hire an immigration lawyer to make sure that your documents are absolutely perfect and you definitely definitely get that visa. If you're applying in the United States, you probably are gonna be sending all of your paperwork over to the UK. I would just make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of time of when you're planning to move and acquiring your visa. I wouldn't lock in any flight plans or anything until you have that visa in your hand, because otherwise you're gonna find it very difficult once you get over here and they're like, go back home. So I made sure I got my visa before I booked my flight and made any kind of moving plans. I guess, I mean, you can start applying for jobs, but you have to be honest and tell them you don't have a work visa. Some companies will sponsor. That's a lie. Not many companies are sponsoring, let's be honest. I applied at a ton of companies and tried to get sponsorship, and I had a pretty decent resume, and companies weren't really sponsoring. And you need to be upfront, because legally employers can't hire you if you're not documented, if you don't have a visa. So you really need to do your research, take all the steps to acquire that visa, and then you can start your fun, amazing life in the UK. You can work, you can eat bangers and mash, you can drink pints of beer, you can tea with the Queen. You probably won't tea with the Queen in your first year, but you'll get over here. And I'll just say it one more time. If you are getting to the end of this video, you've written a ton of stuff down, you're scratching your head, you're a little stressed out, don't worry, we've all been there. It is absolutely, absolutely doable. You just have to commit to getting all your shit together and submitting your application. And I promise it will work out. And we cannot wait to have you here in the UK. I wish you guys the best of luck with your application. Again, leave questions below. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Why do I do that? Hi. What you need to do and where you need to lick. Where you need to lick? Oh, this is terrible. Ah! Excuse me, I burped. How gross. My battery's running out. I'm burping. It's disgusting.